Hi, my name's Natalie, and this is my costume judging for Ganondorf from Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. For the shoes, I used a heel with a platform because Alexis and me are the same height and I needed to be taller. I just made a boot cover and sewed that over that and put a base on the bottom. The greaves are made out of foam. That is because the design is quite chunky, so I wanted to match that. The pants are made out of an upholstery fabric. It's got a nice weight to it. It's lined with that black cotton that you see there, and then the geometric designs are cut into the outer layer because the designs actually have quite a depth to them. And then they're satin stitched to finish off the edges there. So this is Ganondorf's shirt and chest plate. It doesn't fit on my mannequin because my mannequin has breasts and Ganondorf does not. So it's made out of two different fabrics, both upholstery fabrics with a different texture and a slightly different colour just to give that variation so it's not grey on grey and grey. And it has geometric designs that are appliqued on there, very subtle on the design. So I went with a similar colour but you could just see it. On the end of this sleeve, it has a bit of linen with applique geometric design again, and that is mostly covered by the braces, so you don't see the end of it. Then the middle sleeve, which is that red one there, that has another geometric design that is satin stitched over 1 and 2 millimeter foam to give it that 3D effect that the design has. And that silver moon was hand stitched because my machine doesn't go that wide and it is lined. The fur is trimmed, and then I did the roots in a grey marker to match the design, and then I did buttonholes for the red to be threaded through. The bottom of the shirt was gold satin stitched with a gold trim at the bottom, and is lined and was gathered and sewn to the bottom of the shirt. The chest plate is made out of leather. The white bit in the middle you can see is LED foam, and two lights go underneath that. They're just press lights, so you turn them on. It's all tooled and painted, and the gems are hand cast. This is the hip armour, which is also made out of leather. It is attached by leather straps so that they can move up and down, so I could sit and move a bit easier. And they're attached by a belt that is covered by the shirt. These are the braces that go around my arms. They're made out of leather and gems, and they just slide onto my arms. This is the rest of my armour and my cape. So there's a linen drape across the front there that has got applique details on it. So the collar and the jacket and the pauldrons, the shoulder armour, they've all been made out of leather that has been tooled. The edges have been burnished to close them off properly, and then they've been painted. I've painted them with a bit of emphasis because leather, you're limited to how much depth you can get. So I paint to just emphasise all that tooling. As you can see, there's a lot of detail in this leatherwork here that is all stamped into the leather. The cape is fully lined with red delustered satin. That's to just get that weight and that nice regal shine that Ganondorf has. All the details on the back are pleather, and they are heat and bonded on, and then they're just straight stitched around the edge just to tidy it up and make sure it's going to stick on there. This is Ganondorf Sword. It's all made out of wood. I chose wood because it's got that giant hole in the middle there. It needs a bit more strength than it normally would. And it's all been carved with a Dremel and then painted with a pearl pigment to mimic that light effect that his sword has. For the beard, it's fully hand ventilated, and that's because I needed to match the colour of the beard to the colour of the wig. For the wig, all the curls I wrapped around a cylinder and then set it with hairspray and pins. The crown is made out of warbler, and the head gem is hand cast and made out of foam.
Hi, I'm Alexis, and this is my costume judging for my costume, Zelda, from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Natalie made these beautiful armor pieces out of leather so that there would be some continuation with Ganondorf and Zelda. And she wet formed them, and I glued the pieces together and painted them using the same gold pigment as the resin accessories, so then they would all match. And it's all hand tooled and detailed with some extra resin gems in the center. The tabard is a hand-dyed piece of teal cotton with a dark blue dye up the top in an ombre with a combination of suede, gold vinyl, and purple suede applique using a straight stitch. The vest is a combination of a silk taffeta with a muslin lining with hand embroidered details going around the sides and together and up at the back, and it has some grommets added in with some chain detailing as well. So the white dress itself is a similar fit to the vest, however it continues down to the bottom in a series of pleats, and this is all a thick delustered bridal satin with contrasting bridal satin for the appliques to just make it pop that little bit more. For the bottom of the dress, there's a series of appliques. There's the chain detailing, which is a satin with heat and bond, all cut out using a soldering iron, and then these decals were made using a combination of EVA foam 2mm that had an adhesive side, and 2 layers were cut out, one detail and one basic shape, and they were put on top of each other and then using heat and bond ironed on and then straight stitched so everything stays on. Trim down the bottom is also a handmade bias tape out of a gold lame fabric. So underneath the dress we have a 3-tier petticoat made out of organza and chiffon with some netting in between. The bottom has a pre-gathered lace at the end, so there's one layer, some netting, and then the bottom layer, and then every single tier has been French seamed as well, as you can see here, and overlocked and zigzagged. The accessories are all made out of resin, which were previously sculpted out of a combination of warbler and foam clay, and then were mold and cast with a polyurethane resin, a mixture of a translucent, transparent one for all the gems, and a gold pigment was mixed in for the opaque parts. However, for the wig, the tiara was made out of a flexible polyurethane, so then it can move with my head. Zelda's wig is an Arda wig that has had 3 different kinds of extra wefts added to it. There's super platinum blonde and then a more ashy brown over a brown wig, and then sections have been wrapped up using hot glue and ribbon with foam clay details at the bottom, and there's been an extra warbler detail added here. So the gloves are a stretch fabric and they have gold vinyl applique detailing that's been straight stitched, and up the top we have a brown pleather with appliqued white fabric as well that's been straight stitched on and using heat and bond, and these gloves are made in a way so this loops over the middle finger and I can slide on gloves underneath.